Hi everyone, welcome back to WHU TV. My name is John, your host as always, and I hope you're all doing well as I always do under these very, very difficult circumstances. Welcome to the channel if you're new around here, because there's been a few new subscribers over the last 24 hours, so thank you very much, or 22 hours for that matter. So thank you very much to everybody that's been watching the watched the Wolves friendly preview, sorry, the Wolves preview I should say, that went up yesterday. It's been it's got a lot of traction recently, which is understandable because a lot of people want to get people's opinions on the game. Because bearing in mind, guys, 23 hours from now we will be watching West Ham versus Wolves at home. I'm really looking forward to this. The closer it's getting, the more I'm looking forward to it. This is episode 55 of a daily live chat along with John, chat with John I should say, where I talk to you guys about stories and information, and you guys ask me questions, and we basically interact. We're making social media social again, which I'm really tempted to make a t-shirt slogan for. Guys, let me know if you'd be up for having that, making social media social again. But as always, guys, let's start off by seeing who's in the live chat, just so I get my notes up to date properly. There we go. So where are we? Come on, there you go. So Mark's in. Hello Mark, hope you're doing all right, mate. Good evening to you, happy Friday to you, and good evening to Jay as well for that matter, and Vernon. Hello mate, only being 5 minutes off to work. Your view counts, mate. There's only 5 of us watching at the minute so far, and there's the 3 of you interacting, so it's good to have 80% of people talking. Well, 60% I should say, and it's 60% of people talking. But anyway, just as a follow up on just as a follow up while we're waiting for Andy, because I'm sure he's going to be late as he always is. Eden's in. Hello, mate. Good to see you. Hope you're doing all right. Just as a follow up from the news that broke the other day about £100 billion being invested by the Bank of England to help with the economy. It was confirmed earlier this morning that the UK is now larger than the UK debt, sorry, I should say, is now larger than the value of the whole economy for the first time in 57 years. It means over the last 2 to 3 decades, the government has borrowed a record £1.95 trillion. That's how bad this has got. This is actually how bad the state of the world is nowadays. That is our debt level now. It's unbelievable. And but the good news is that ever since DIY shops and garden centers were open, the retail reductions have decreased slightly in May because of it. So we'll see the same thing next month as well, when people start coming in to going shopping on more regular basis. I mean, Christ knows how much money Westfield would have made at Stratford when they opened on Monday. Christ knows how much money all those shops would have made. So we're getting back to normal, guys. Our high streets are open as normal. Granted, we've still got to be social distancing, and there's going to be legislation coming in about using masks or face coverings, as they're technically known as, when you're in shops. So I'm sure you guys have got on top of that, and I'm sure you guys are using it. I mean, I'm an asthmatic, but I've been using a very good Himalayan salt pump thing, which I went out and tested wearing a mask the other day when I went and get some beers, and because I'm saving, before anybody asks, the reason why I'm not drinking is I'm saving them for the watch along tomorrow evening. So we can have a couple of beers, a couple of drinks with each other while we're watching the football live. I said I was going to go live at 5:20, and I thought, do you know what, guys? I'm going to go live at 5:10. So we've got 20 minutes. We can all catch up with each other, have a bit of a chat, and then just like we do with the football, literally just have a bit of a conversation, talk about the team sheets, we always will do, and then we'll kick in with the watch along. So guys, I'm really looking forward to having that conversation with you guys. Rick popped in quickly. Hello, mate. Hope you're doing all right. Richard Thomas. Hello, mate. Nice to see you. Mark says, well, Wine Mark wouldn't go bust anyway. Not with you around. Not even. I'm sure the Northern Ireland version of it's doing very well at the minute, mate. But also it was really sad to hear this morning, because as we know, we lost Dame Judi Dench yesterday at 103, bless her, and Sir Ian Holm passed away at the age of 88. Now, for a lot of people will only remember him for his role in the Lord of the Rings movies. But for someone like me, he played Ash in Alien. He was a star of he was a star of the TV series The Borrowers as well, for that matter. Lots of programs and films he's done over the years. He pops up everywhere, and it's a real shame. So if anybody is on the highly unlikely event that anybody is watching from Sir Ian Holmes' family, my sincere condolences to you guys, because he was a very, very talented actor. Fifth Element, of course, as well. Fifth Element, before anyone says it. But yeah, it's my condolences are to him and his family. Good evening, Ben. Hope you're doing all right, mate. Good afternoon, Lena. Hope you're okay. Good to see you both. Now, the UK coronavirus level was lowered from level 4 to level 3 today. So for those that aren't aware of what the actual all 5 levels are, because we did talk about it a few weeks ago, level 5 of the coronavirus is the risk of healthcare of being overwhelmed. Level 4 is the transmission of the virus is high or rising exponentially. Level 3 is epidemic, is in general circulation. Level 2, so basically we've gone, so it's basically, to a degree, it's like an exaggerated version of saying that it's flu season, to a degree. Level 2 is present in the UK, but number of cases and transmission is low. So that's basically when we hit level 2 is when we should be able to get back to our normal way of life. Be able to go to the football again. Be able to go to go to work. Be able to go to work again. We'll be able to go to the pub again properly. That sort of thing. And level 1 is the virus is not known to be present in the UK, aka they're ignorant about it. But yeah, so basically, so I say level 2 is basically what the flu season is. You know, it's there, but there's hardly anybody getting ill and dying from it as a result of it. So that's what it is from that side. So guys, by all means, please feel free to pitch in to talk about what I'm talking about. I appreciate the football's on at the minute. For those that are engaging, it's currently 0-0. Lana says, as I expected, and she's watching Norwich. I thought you would be. Lana says we're levels 4 to 5 in California. Yeah, because the levels are massive from what I've been reading. Absolutely huge. Now, good. Right, starting to talk about football stuff, guys. So get your ears and your fingers and your thumbs ready, because there's a lot to talk about on this. And I'm warning you now. There's going to be a rant coming in a few minutes, just as Dale is joining us. Hello, mate. Hope you're doing all right. Rice has donated £4,000 to the food bank charity Irons Supporting Food Bank. I love this. I really, really do love this. It's a fantastic thing, and again, just shows how much that he's doing for the community personally. I mean, all the footballers are doing it. Some are talking about it, some are not. Obviously, it's been linked that Rice is doing this. You know, and it's yeah, talking of it, yeah, as always, yeah, this is the reason why we're going to go live at 10 past 5 on Friday afternoon. Good afternoon, Andy. On Saturday afternoon, I should say. You know, it's just I'm glad you could join us, mate. But seriously, you know, it's great that Dex has donated that amount of money, which, to be honest, that's not much. That used to be a week's wages to him. It's now like 10% of it. But it's nonetheless, it's a really, really good thing that he's doing. I really, really love the fact that he's doing that. Now, so see what you guys are saying. Nana says, "Good boy, Dex." Top. Andy, what do you think about that? Dale, what do you think about that? Ben, if you're still here, what do you think about that? Mark, if you're still here, what do you think about that as well? Because it'd be interesting to get your thoughts on it. I'm sure you'd be in agreement with me that it's a good thing for him to do. As I say, I just want to get your thoughts on this, because, as I say, it's a daily live chat with me, not me chatting to you. Eden says Rice is a good role model, unlike some players like Aurier. Agreed, 100%. Mark says Rice is a lovely young man. He is. He's winning a lot of points on a lot of stages with our supporters, and I absolutely admire the kid for it. I really, really do. Now, this is the interesting thing, because I forgot to do this, so bear with me 2 minutes. I just need to do something very, very quickly. I mean, even though I've taken the day off sick because I needed a lot of sleep. I've been very, very tired the last few days. I slept a lot yesterday, today, an absolute lot. It was unbelievable how much sleeping I've been doing today, but very, very needed. But this is where the rant's going to be coming, guys. So do please bear with me. Andy says, brilliant, well done, Mr. Rice. Ben says, it's a lovely gesture. It is, it's fantastic. Mark says, Bonds eats rice. Del says, great help in the community at times like this. English spirit at its best. Agreed. Sophie Ann, evening, John. Sorry for my lateness. Hope you're all right, mate. Yeah, all right then. Okay, yeah, it's not going to be that much of a rant, but you guys will completely understand what I'm talking about, because this broke today. Scope. Where are we? Scope Markets is now the sleeve shirt sponsor. Fine, haven't got any problem with that whatsoever. Thing is, the details of this deal, albeit it's a little bit vague because again the club's not wanting to have a lot of information leaked. Now, as you would have seen, Scope were in the background, were some of the 20, 25, 26 sponsors that we talked about a week or so ago. I genuinely didn't know this was coming. I only read this morning because again it was only announced this morning. But I genuinely didn't know this. And I say, well, how can a club have this much problems with this financial problems with this amount of sponsors? And this is the reason why. Okay, reports coming out that the Scope Market, which in itself is, I'm sure they are a very, very diligent company. They signed a new multi-year deal, so we don't actually know how long this is going to be. I'm guessing probably 5-6 years, maybe. Seems to be about the average nowadays. The deal is worth between, depending on the sources I've been looking at, they've been saying around about 1 million to 1.5 million a year for their and to quote the actual thing in there, to quote, expanded agreement. Well, expanded relationship with the club. So say for argument's sake, yeah, let's take the mean average 1 to 1.5, £1.25 million a year to have a shirt sponsorship. Well, the sleeve sponsorship, I should say. What small amount of money have the club agreed with this company beforehand, if they're only bringing in just over £1 million to be a sleeve sponsor? It boggles the mind. Honestly, I seriously don't understand it. It just makes absolutely no sense. So basically, let's take on average, right? Because obviously Betway is going to be the largest amount. Umbro is going to be the second largest amount, and then Scope Market. So let's say, for argument's sake, right? So between those three companies alone, the club is probably making what, 3-4 million quid. So taking those three out, that means probably, and I say probably because the accounts don't say how much money is coming in from each individual sponsor. Believe me, I've gone through them over the last 3 years. I'm estimating that we're getting 22, maybe 23 million pound sponsorship through all of those sponsor companies alone. That's it. Take away the TV rights, take away the merchandise money, blah 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 blah. That's bonkers. You can't even play. So you can't even buy a better than average player for that. And they want a world-class stadium with world-class players. It boggles the mind. It really, really does boggle the mind. I mean, trading one trading sponsor for another. What could possibly go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? Let's see what you guys are saying about it. Mark says, never heard of them, but they're going bust. They're going bust. It's written in the stars. Yeah, 100%, mate. Dell says, Sally pocketing more. I wouldn't be surprised, mate. I wouldn't be at all surprised. And they can't find a stadium sponsor. Well, that's more down to the council than the club, mate, because remember, it's council owned. Mark English, is that £1 million or just for the rest of the season? It's per year, mate. It's between £1 and £1.5 million per year to be a shirt sponsor, a sleeve sponsor. Leonard says, Lady Brady is meant to be a great business person. Effing ridiculous. She needs sacking. Agreed. Sophie says, Scope Markets, I've never heard of them, but that's not enough for a sleeve sponsor. If it was the official shirt sponsor like Betway, I could understand, but a sleeve sponsor is not enough. Mate, £1 million is million to £1.5 million is not enough for the background stuff, as far as I'm concerned. We should be cutting. It's great that we're getting local companies involved in it. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love that idea. But it's just down to the poor communication, poor coordination, poor planning, poor thinking. This is the reason why we're going to be struggling over the next few years, guys. They should be trying to get more money out of these companies to a degree. I'm not saying go and get 20-30 million pounds for a shirt sleeve sponsor. No. But at least enough to try and cover something. You know, but we've got 26, 27 sponsors in total. And a shirt sleeve sponsor is paying between £1 and £1.5 million per year. No way. We are doomed. If that's the financial thinking behind from Karen Brady, because Lenny, you're absolutely right. She's more in charge of it, because there's no way, how stingy David Sullivan is, there's no way he would greenlight an amount that small. No, what if he's got any logic? Anyway. Dale says, low expectations from a board who are treating it like a cash cow. Agreed, completely. The curse of the hammer sponsors, definitely, Lena, definitely. So I think it's more like Brady. It's more Brady than Sullivan. Yeah, I mean, everybody points at Brady, Sullivan, because he signs the checks, or doesn't sign the checks, as the case a lot of the time is. But Brady is the financial mind behind it. What sort of money do Chevrolet pay Man U shited? A damn sight more, maybe. As I say, it's just, I mean, I guarantee Chevrolet will be paying twice, maybe at least twice that Betway are doing to be a shirt sponsor. Guarantee it. Leonard says, rather have no sponsor at that price. Ran like a circus. GSB out, says Sofian. Andy says, at least it's not run like a circus. We could save a quarter of $1 million a year by getting rid of Brady. Agreed, absolutely, but it wouldn't make a dent. It wouldn't make a dent. It really. I mean, let's say £1 million a year. That's not even enough for. It's not even enough for an academy graduate's wages. It's for a year. It's ridiculous. Sophie says, I'm fuming. Any reason to get angry at them? It is. It's mental. I don't get it. I really, really don't understand why people just can't see this. Maybe it was they were already paying between £1 million and £1.5 million anyway, and they just upgraded it, so they got more exposure for free. This is the stupid thing. What were they paying beforehand to be a background sponsor? $750,000? $750,000? Oh, honestly. Leonard says, what's the tea lady on? Might cover her. Dale says, wish they would sell the club. Enough is enough. It's bonkers. Guys, it is absolutely bonkers. It baffles me. It really, really baffles me that I mean, if this information is false and that the value is a lot higher, fine. That's not a problem. But I've gone to about at least three different sources to have a look at this. And yeah, I'm not impressed at all. Absolutely not impressed. Henry, hello, mate. Players get more for their boot sponsors. Agreed. They do. And that's what I'm saying. It's absolutely pathetic. It really is pathetic. I mean, how are we supposed to be trying to compete with the London teams when we can't even compete with championship teams if we're getting in sponsorship that's going to have massive. Think about it. Yeah, that's advertising is going to go literally all around the world. You'll be getting people from France, Japan, Germany, Australia, New Zealand, the US buying next season's shirts or this season's shirts. Because I'm guessing that that's going to come in very soon as well. They're going to have those shirt sponsors on there very, very quickly. All those, that massive exposure all around the world for $1.25 million to maybe for a year. Doesn't sound right. Does not sound right. Good evening, Chris. How are you, mate? Hope you're right. Andrew, that is very true. Chris says I prefer that to Bassett and Gold. Yeah, but the money deal, mate, is useless. It really is a pathetic value. Now, turning to another business thing for West Ham. There seems to be a lot of talk over the last couple of days, especially from reliable sources, that we could be seeing a friendly with Rangers very, very soon. I reckon I'd love to see that. I really would love to see a proper friendly at the London Stadium. We won't obviously be able to go and watch it before anybody says it. Like for example, there was a geezer who posted on because I advertised my preview on everywhere on Facebook, all the West Ham groups that I could find, or at least I trust anyway. And there was a geezer saying he commented on it saying anyone got a ticket. West Ham comedy in a while. That sums it right up there. But yeah, I would really enjoy if that could happen before next season starts. Whether we get to see it or not. I think it'd be very good. It'd be very competitive. Something have a little bit, because obviously we're not going to be able to travel that much as it stands at the minute. I know people are coming in and going in from the country all over the place. But I'm guessing that these clubs won't risk it. No, they won't risk it. But it would be good to see it. Ben says, would have been nice to see the NHS or a charity organisation on the sleeves at least for the rest of the season. It is going to happen. You watch it tomorrow night. We'll be seeing the BLM and the NHS badges on the shirts. So they are, mate. It is going to be temporary. Who knows? We might see it into next season. Sophie says every official shirt has to have scope markets on the sleeve. That's what I'm saying. It's going to be like Arsenal's visit with Rwanda. Yeah, with visit Rwanda. Exactly. That's what I'm saying, mate. It's going to be advertised all over the world for just over £1 million. Ridiculous. Leonard says nice. Chris says I'd love to see Rangers versus West Ham. Yeah, it would be. I hope that gets broadcast in some way. I really do. Andy says I agree, Ben, till the end of the season. Mark says Rangers is his second love. Jay Swifty, hello mate, good to see you. I like the game against Rangers. It'd be good fun. Chris says one sleep. Yes, mate, 100%. 22.5 hours to go. Not that I'm counting at all. So 20. Where are we? Yeah, we 22.5 hours until at least we go live. Because I said for those that have joined in relatively late, I'll be going live at 5:15 tomorrow evening. So what we can do is we can have a bit of a chat and talk about things, and then once it comes close to the game, then we'll start doing the watch along as well, all on the same broadcast as well, for that matter. Just because I know certain people would like to come fashionably late, shall we say? Not pointing any fingers. But David Moyes is so obviously the majority of this stream is going to be talking about tomorrow's game. So while I am talking, I'm giving you the answers to David Moyes' pre-match conference, guys. All the questions he was asked. I want you guys to give me your starting 11s for tomorrow, please. While we're talking about that. Okay, so the first question David Moyes was asked was: some clubs feel they are better equipped now than in March. What shape are West Ham in, and those who are out of contract? He said, Moyes said, not sure who thinks that clubs might be better off than others. They've had injuries then, and they have injuries now. We have got one or two, but we won't really know until we get back playing. It's been very much like a pre-season, but a very long pre-season without many games. But a long, close season is probably the best terminology. We are a little bit unsure, but we are ready to play. And the next question is, and the players who are out of contract in June. So we've got a few weeks to go before we need to worry about that. It's not really, it's only a week. And we will deal with it. We have players out of contract and so do other clubs. It's not an ideal scenario for anyone, but they are legally binding. So the players have a decision whether they stay beyond the 30th of June or not. So it's a bit of a subtle bombshell there. Next question, how demanding in 9 games in 5 weeks is going to be? So it should be, how demanding is the 9 games in 5 weeks going to be? There were also encouraging signs. Were there also encouraging signs going into the break? Christ knows who's written this. We were very encouraged with how the players were looking. We had really got some momentum. I came in between Christmas and January, so in many ways, it has given me a chance to work more with the players. We have tried to be on the front foot at every opportunity to get them in, work with them, and hopefully we can benefit from that and we can show it on the pitch. There is more for them to show than they have done recently. Next question, Black Lives Matter. How important is it to be involved? The players have already shown it in the friendly game. One thing at West Ham, we include everybody here, and likewise throughout the entire fan base as well, for that matter. The club and the players haven't discussed taking a knee yet, but we will certainly expect them to, yes. The next question, the Premier League returned not without controversy. Do you still have faith with goal line technology? Moy said, we were all disappointed with how poor the decision was. I think there have been VAR decisions this year. We had a terrible one against Sheffield United in the last minute. VAR seems to have picked up an awful lot of stuff that wouldn't have been spotted before, even if the calls have been mostly correct. For them not to pick up that one was ridiculous. Next question, Marcus Ratchford was coming through the youth setup when you were at Man United. What do you think? What do you make of his achievement? I said, what I would say is that Marcus has shown more class than anyone else during this lockdown. Completely right. There are very few people who have shown the class he has. Again, completely right. I remember him well at Man United. He is a very good human being, and you have to give him credit for what he has done and what he has done, and everyone else has too. Before the break, you seem to have figured out the formation, but the break means you have to. But does the break mean you have to restart again? The good thing is that I've had time to work with the players. We felt we finished strongly. Okay, maybe the results were not as good as the performance, but I was really pleased with the players. I have been really pleased with how they worked in the lockdown since we came back, and we are trying to get them ready as much as we can. Are you looking forward to seeing Jared Bowen back? I said previously that I didn't want to put too much on Jared too soon, and that is still the same now. We don't want him to become the player that has to do it all. He has shown in training he is more than capable. He has not got a lot of Premier League experience, but we have been mightily impressed with him since he joined the club. How much will the extra substitutions help you in picking your team? Get ready, guys. Behind the scenes, all of the clubs will have injuries just coming through sort of a pre-season that happens. And we are concerned about them during games, so that's why the extra subs were given the go-ahead. So he hasn't actually answered the question. Wolves are coming off a 5-game unbeaten run, but is it better to play them now after a break than in a good run of form? Moises said, I think Wolves have done remarkably well, but I think it would have been better if we'd played them after they'd come back from Greece at Olympiacos. A long trip. I've been there before, and it's not an easy trip. But ultimately, you have to play each team twice, away and home. We have got a lot to play for, and so have Wolves. But in my mind, it is not as big as what we are playing for at West Ham. Completely true. How is the vibe? Arguably, you might have been one of the teams who would have preferred the season to finish. I love his answer for this. I think you are completely wrong there. We can't wait to get started and play football again. We wouldn't have played if it was going to cost people's lives. Simple as that. How have you managed to seal the manage to deal with the players during these times. I looked everywhere for fresh information, knowledge, even with clubs. If we had got a player that had tested positive, what was their reaction? I've tried to be ahead of most things. I've been ready for the next stage all the way along, so I have done everything that I can to be there. We have been preparing to win games, training to win for a long time. We have to show it, but we have not been training to keep fit. How much are you going to miss the fans? Well, you're going to miss 60,000 supporters. There are very few clubs in the country that get that. They are going to be missed. I can't wait to get them back. You feel the atmosphere, and we'll be thinking of them, and quickly. We'll be thinking of them, and quickly we can get them back. But the penultimate question, so almost done, guys. A shame Wolves have had 12 weeks rest rather than playing them during their grueling run. So, well, we've had 12 weeks off too to work with the players. I'll look at it that way. Everyone respects Wolves as a team. It will be a tough game, but we are in a period where we are unsure what is going to happen. We'll be the underdogs. And the last question was, you sold fruit and veg. Has it given you insight to life outside and the world we are living in? So when we went into lockdown, we were all shocked and frightened by it. And when I went home, the local fruit and veg were asking for drivers, and I went and done it. I really enjoyed it. It gave me something to get up for in the morning for old people or young families. What I have done is minuscule of what other people are going through. Agreed. I'm thrilled to be back being a manager. I was sitting at home during the break thinking this is not what I signed up to. No, misspelt there, but never mind. I have to say the club has done a brilliant job in lockdown with the supporters, the staff at the training ground. I have been pushing all the way to get us started and getting us ready to go. It's brilliant. I actually love this. But to continue on, Santos in not such a positive mood from the quotes we've got here. He said, everybody is hungry to play. Another thing is to be ready for it. This week we have 3 matches. It is going to be very demanding. The mental aspect is going to be very important, and the motivation is there. The players are anxious to play the game. Under the circumstances we've been dealing with, we are ready. Another thing is how ready we are. Only the game will tell us. We are okay. We are not perfect, but we are okay. And talking about the London Stadium, Santos has said it's something we are really aware of. The situation was 3 months without activity. The tension and the pressure society has suffered doesn't go away. The players have suffered uncertainty, doubts over their own future, and doubts about football. All these things have a big impact on the players. Mental health is something we are aware of. It's something we are fortunate to have within our own staff. We have a psychologist. It's a new situation for everybody, and that is it. I think that's brilliant. It's really, really good on from both managers there. So let's have a look to see what the let's have a look to see what everyone's starting 11s are, because not many people have actually done it. Mark says Fabianski, Fredericks, Diop, Ogbonna, Creswell, Rice, Souček, Anderson, Fornals, Bowen, and Antonio. Andy's taking the short way out. Says as what Mark says, but Allaire in and Anderson out. Yeah, because I agree, mate. We do need a striker. Antonio is a attacking winger. He's not a striker. He's the false number 9. Henry says I'm going with Mark's English team. Leonard says bit all over the place here, but we've got Fabianski, Rice and Diop as centre backs, and Ngaki and Creswell as the wing backs, Noble and Souček defensive midfielders, Fornals, Antonio, Allaire, Bowen, Roberto, come on. Jay Swift says, I hope we play attacking versus Wolves. Hate watching West Ham when we just sit back. Would rather watch us lose 7-6 than 1 or 2-0 to Wolves. Let's face it, we cannot defend, but going forward, we're class. Well, we're not really that class, mate, but I know what you mean. So give me a team sheet. Gary says I'm late. We spoke about 5 at the back with Rice in there, means Souček and Noble in the middle. I'm happy with that. Give us your full team sheet there, Gary. Eden says Fabianski, Fredericks, Diop, Ogbonna, Creswell, Rice, Fornals, Souček, Allaire, Bowen, and Antonio. So, yeah, so everybody's going with Fredericks at right back, which I don't Barlena, which I don't disagree with. But everyone else is pretty much saying the same sort of thing. Mark says, I'm not knocking Vegman, Andy. Peter Jones, hello mate, says Fabianski, Fredericks, Diop, Goa. Not really. Snodgrass, Souček, Rice, Fornals, Anson, Bowen, and Antonio. Who's Goa? Because you've missed out. You've missed out. Yeah, you missed out of the you missed out a left back and maybe a centre back by the looks of it there, mate. At least they turned up for work. Agreed. Adele says Noble needs to be rested in this. This will be a fast and furious game. It will be, mate. But Dale, what's your starting 11? Because you haven't given us that there, mate. So, which you're absolutely right. But give me a bit more information onto that. James Swift says, James Swift, mate, fine, but still give me your starting 11, mate. You don't get out of it that easily, sunshine. Yeah. So now the interesting thing is from looking on Claret and Hugh earlier today. It's a bit of a surprise that not many we're so far into this because we should be about halfway through this now. It's a little bit. Yeah, we're all right for time so far. Let's have a look. So just to double check, it's still 0-0. 47 minutes into the second, or 2 minutes into the second half at Norwich Southampton. It's still 0-0. Where are we? Where those photos go? They've disappeared. But Claret and Hugh put up the details about the about that. Yes, you did, Rick. I will read yours in just a moment. Actually, mate, I'm just waiting for everybody else's ones to come in. Ben's been a bit weak and gone. Any team that wins, so Masuaku must not play. Yeah, they basically said West Ham revealed a range of initiatives at the London Stadium this Saturday. As previously reviewed by Claret and Hugh, we will enter the pitch to Vera Lynn's version of Bubbles ringing around the London Stadium, which will incorporate fans' authentic voices recorded from our match days so the players still hear support. This will be accompanied by the Bubbles machine so that those special aspects of our match day ritual can remain for the players and supporters watching from home. As the Hammers head out the tunnel, they will be reminded that the Claret and Blue supporter base with the mosaic featuring thousands of our loyal fans in the Billy Bond stand. I'm looking forward to seeing that. It's going to be quite see what the mosaic is going to represent. I'm guessing it's going to be the crossed hammers. For the first game against Wolves, the club will also be represented by a broad range of supporters virtually on Zoom, including Any Old Irons, Pride of Irons, the BAME Hammers, and our junior supporters board, as well as some of our international Hammers joining from overseas to don the Claret and Blue and represent the Hammers via the big screen. So nobody at home, nobody outside their circle. The club will celebrate its Hammers heroes as a number of key workers will count the teams down to 5:30 kickoff with a little help from our fans' favourite. Sounds good. Sounds quite cool. But yes. Rick's starting 11 was, if I remember correctly, where are we? Yeah, so his starting 11 for tomorrow is Fabianski in goal, Fredericks, Diop, Ogbonna, Creswell, Bowen, Noble, Rice, Fornals, Antonio, and Allaire. So yeah, we're all pretty much on the same sort of kick of it in a minute. So as so Gary says, Fabianski, Jeremy, Ngakia, Diop, Ogbonna, Rice, Ben. Who's Ben? Bowen, I'm guessing you mean there. Souček, Noble. No, I don't know who you put in the Bowen there. Maybe Creswell or Ben Johnson. Mate. First names or surnames, choose. Souček, Bowen, Antonio, and Allaire. And Mark says, yeah, 1-0 Saints, and it's Southampton. It's Danny Ings who's scored that. Yeah, any team looks down. Andy says at least he's sprouting out. Henry's confirmed the same thing. 1-0 Southampton. Peter Jones, no, take Chris well put in Snodgrass. Igbo Ogbonna, I think you mean, alongside Diop. So James has said Fabianski, Fabianski, Creswell, Diop, Balbuena or Ogbonna with Johnson, Rice, Souček, Antonio, Bowen, Fabianski, Anderson, and Allaire up top. Not a bad shout, mate. Not a bad shout. And he says there have been photos of the stadium today, JP, on Facebook and Twitter. I saw them earlier. They were on this article I was reading, but they're not up anymore. But they do look nice. It actually looks like a proper West Ham stadium where they've got all the awnings of there's like the Billy Bonds and there's irons and all that stuff spread all over the place. It does look really, really nice. But for some reason, those photos have disappeared off that article. But they do look really cool. Ben says I'm not playing, sadly. Yeah, noticed. Dell says Fabianski, Fredericks, Diop, Rice, Creswell, Bowen, Souček, Fornals, Anderson, Antonio, and Allaire. So yeah, not bad shouts, guys. Not bad shouts. Well, I'd say roughly, give or take a few players, we're all roughly saying the same sort of thing. A very, very heavy, hard defensive line as much as possible. So yeah, Mark is now saying it's 2-0 to Southampton. Not a surprise. I mean, it's ironic, really, bearing in mind that the Norwich City manager. I was literally watching a video earlier today where he was saying that he thinks they're going to be all right. But nothing's come through yet. But I'm sure you're right there, mate. James says a draw between Saints and Norwich is what we need, but definitely can't afford Saints to win. We can't afford to have either of them win, mate. If I'm completely honest with you, because as it stands at the moment. Southampton are 13th, and Norwich is still rock bottom. So, I mean, Southampton are 10 points ahead of us as it stands at the minute with their game in hand. It's not going to make that much of a difference. Right. So some of you have already gone for James's. I was about to ask the same question. What's everybody's score prediction? I've said it in the preview. I didn't say it in the preview, but I still think we're going to get turned over 2 or 3-0. Mark Lawrenson says he reckons we're going to win 1-0. I don't know what he's been smoking. Sophie says Fabianski in goal, Fredericks, Diop, Ogbonna, Creswell, Souček, Rice, Fornals, Anderson, Bowen, and Allaire. Good shout, mate. Good shout. Dell says Wolves will try and boss the midfield. Agreed. Jay says, I wonder if Moyes fancies 5 at the back. We'll find out. Sophie says, who scored for Southampton? My football fantasy Premier League is doing really bad this week so far. So we've only had 2 bloody games, man. Come on. Get some perspective, son. Honestly, get some perspective. Only 4 teams played yesterday. Only 2 teams are playing today. So for Southampton, it's Danny Ings and Armstrong. Andy says it wouldn't surprise me if Ngakia starts tomorrow. Mate, all hell will break loose in the fan base if that happens. Mark says 2-1 West Ham, both goals from Anderson. Andy says a 2-0 loss. Gary says 4 at the back with a 3-1, 5 at the back, draw or loss. Agreed, mate. Dell reckons we'll win 3-1. Not a bad shout. It's impossible, but not a bad shout. Leonard says Ings has scored 1. Yeah. So Leonard, give us your score prediction for tomorrow. And the latest odds from what I saw from Sky Bet on the game is for us to win. And Andy, don't worry, I'll try and convert this into old money for you, sunshine. West Ham are 5-2. A draw is 23-10, so it's just over 2-1. And Wolves to win is 11-10, so pretty much honours even there, mate. But yeah, So it does seem that the momentum seems to be with Wolves, but as this is the first game back after 3 months, 3.5 months, it's anybody's guess. It's absolutely anybody's guess. No, we could have absolutely everything, anything can happen still, as we all know. I'm not going to say what I'm about to say because I think because I'm going to jinx this broadcast. So I'm not going to say what I was thinking. But you know, it's an interesting one. It's an interesting one from where, as far as West Ham are concerned. How we're going to get on with things. But we'll find out. I mean, at the end of the day, guys, I really, really hope you guys will join me tomorrow. I really, really do hope you'll join me tomorrow for the live watch along, because it's going to be fun. It's going to be good fun. I mean, Mark and Ben, I'm glad you guys are in here, because you know what this. You joined with us, and as did Rick. All three of you. We're sitting there and. Eden says if Ngakia starts, he'll only be placing himself in the shop window. Agreed. Rick says 2-0 both goals from Melair, which is not unfeasible. I can see him getting maybe one if with a full squad behind him completely. Gary Page says you can just see Jeremy scoring tomorrow, can't you? No, I can't. If I'm completely honest with you, knowing how Wolves' defence is, no. Dell says, did I mention we will win 3-1? It's true. Put your money on it. What did you get? 25-2. And he says, no, Mark, I'm not a gambler, mate. Dell reckons there's goal scorers are going to be Bowen, Allaire, and Antonio. Well, it's quite clear that Dell is a gambler, especially with that haircut. Jesus Christ, that is definitely a gamble. Where are we? So, okay, guys. So we're up to the 15 minute spot now. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about? Sofian says prediction for Spurs versus United. Speaking of gambling, it's Mourinho on telly at 8 o'clock or 8:15 as a kickoff. I can see a boring draw out of this, mate. I really can. Chris says 2-1 versus Wolves to us. For 2-1 West Ham. Gary praises. Will you be inviting people to the live show to the live with you tomorrow, Gary? I don't know, mate. To be honest with you, because I want to make sure that the trolls have disappeared first, because the watch-alongs get a lot of little idiots along, especially the time it's going to be. So, but I know that there will be at some point. I might do. If you guys want to give me your reactions afterwards, we can do that. That's not a problem. Leonard says Danny Ings' goal was class. I'm sure Gio is going to be very happy with that. James says, question of the day: would you rather watch a family burn in front of you or be forced to support Millwall? Mate, that's out of order. That's out of order. I know you're trying to be funny, but that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's exactly what I'm talking about. Dale says, yes, Wilson. Shut up. Peter Jones says, take out Creswell, replace him with Snodgrass, and Ogbonna in centre alongside Diop. Yeah. Andy reckons a 0-0. Leonard says, Spurs versus United, Kane limps off after 26 minutes. Suffian says, a 3-1 United win. Eden says, what do you think of Kouati? Did you think he was lazy or good for us in midfield? I think he was, to be honest with you, Eden, I think he was a bit of both. Peter, stop spamming the chat, please. I think it's a bit of both. I really, really do. I think he was a very, very talented player. Sometimes he was lazy, but he wasn't consistent enough. That was for sure. But when we needed him, it really, really worked. Chris says 10-0 to United, hopefully. Henry says Sofian, come on. There we go. Browser playing up again. I will be keeping an eye on the watch along tomorrow. I won't be active in the chat, but we'll be here. Very close to it, Lena. Very, very close to it. Sofian, who do you think is the worst defender in the league? It's David Luiz as it stands at the minute after that stupid performance last night. James, that's not funny. I know you're trying to be funny, mate, but why would you want to put burning your family as trying to be funny? Grow up. Dale says we get 3 points tomorrow. Gary Page, will be interesting to see Nolan tomorrow. Not sure if he's happy at the moment. On what grounds, Gary? What are you talking about there? Chris says Phil Jones. Yeah. Lena says Kawati, I'm guessing, easily played well for 2-3 seasons. Last one, he looked disinterested. Yeah, he did. Agreed. 100% agreed. Andy says Sideshow Bob. Well, there was two on the pitch on the other night, weren't there? There was David Luiz, and there was what's the other guy? Can't remember his name, but I thought there was a clone going on with that. I really thought it was. Chris says, I hope the players manage to find the back of the net, as sometimes they are struggling with it. Yep, Antonio for one. As I said to Luke and Paul on the Free Hammers when I joined them on their podcast yesterday, I'm surprised we haven't changed Bobby Zamora's song to for Antonio, because he hits Rose Ed more times than he hits the back of the net when he's not using his head. That's for sure. Thank you, Sofian. Yeah. Guendouzi, that's the geezer, definitely. James says, have you seen any of Snodgrass's comments on social media? He 100% should be a TV pundit after his retirement. He is a funny bloke. I haven't seen it myself, but he's got a really good podcast. Really, really good podcast. And yeah, Chris is also saying the same thing. It is Guendouzi. Thank you, guys. Sofian says, I miss Kawati. I think about him, and I think out of him and Obiang, he was better. It was marginal between the two. Gary says, if we have the right mindset for the upcoming games, we could do really something special. Teams so far not look dangerous. Yeah, but it's only the first day of the season. You know, it is literally the first day of the restart, so it's the first day of the season for all teams. City grew into it. From what the highlights I saw of Aston Villa, Sheffield United, they grew into it as well. Max says, I think it was Barbara Streisand's playing in Arsenal's midfield. Del says, Anderson hopefully has a galvanising game. Really got a great feeling about tomorrow. Well, Del, I'm hoping you're going to join us tomorrow, son, to see if your predictions are right. Let's see what happens. Chris says, I like Nobe's interview. He was very honest about it. He always is. I love him for that. His article actually, that's the point. See if I can find the Evening Standard article, because it's Friday, isn't it? So you should have done it. Yep, there we go. This is Mark Noble's article. These are strange and worrying times for everyone. We're all living from day to day as the situation unfolds, and we're also way out of our comfort zones as we try to adjust. Excuse me. One thing this dreadful virus has brought home to me is that the health of my family is more important than anything else in this life. As a professional footballer and someone who I hope has always cared about people in the industry and their welfare. I know that in times like this, livelihoods and security comes under threat, and the quicker we can get back to playing, and the sooner the club's cash begins flowing again, the better. The clubs lower down the EFL are particularly vulnerable, and it is an incredibly difficult situation in which we find ourselves because nobody knows what's going to happen. Our domestic football has been suspended until the end of April, but now beyond that, there is nothing definite. Everything is up in the air, but me wondering about when and how we will be training means little really up against the people in this country who are like the NHS working NHS on the front line every day, or the cab driver who is worrying about where his next fare is going to be coming from. So that's basically what he said in March, which is fantastic. And this should be today's one. If I have a look, where was this today's? Yeah, today's one. So tomorrow will be a new experience for me, as it will the rest of our team. Around 5:20 at the London Stadium, whoever's leading out West Ham to play Wolves. Of course, I hope it will be me. We'll walk up that tunnel and out onto the pitch. So could be Declan Rice. Could be Declan Rice that leads the team out tomorrow. The famous old Bubbles tune will no doubt be played, but there will be no roar of expectation and excitement, and that will feel weird. If I'm honest, I'm looking forward to playing again, but I'm not really relishing the prospect of playing in near empty stadiums, or the eerie silence when someone makes a tackle, when a shot that just goes wide, or when the keeper makes a great save. I don't know exactly how it will work, but the bottom line is that we have to make it work. It is what it is, but football isn't right without the fans. When they're in their places, it can give you a massive edge when you're playing at home, or even when, like me, you get booed at other stadiums. It still gives you that adrenaline rush. It is impossible to replicate that without the fans, but myself and the rest of the squad are determined to do our best in that regard, because we need to win football matches. It's such a strange situation knowing our fans will be at home watching or listening tomorrow instead of in their usual seats. I know they'll all be shouting at their TVs, but we won't be able to hear or see them. I want them to know, though, that even in their absence, we will be playing for them. I am sure they will be behind us, and we will have to tap into that virtual support for the next few weeks. As for me, I've been warned by my mum and grandparents to watch my language, since they will be able to hear every word that's said out there. I've promised to try. We're ready and eager to play again. The boys have really responded well since the return to training. They came back from lockdown in good shape. We've trained well, and we've had a couple of practice matches, and we're braced for the challenge ahead. Normally, after your summer break, you go into 6 weeks pre-season full of hard graft, and then go into the opening game where you can't breathe. You can't replicate proper competitive games, no matter how many practice games you play. Why? Because 60,000 people helped create that intensity. Full grounds help you push you to the limit, force you to go that extra mile until your lungs are burning. We're going to have to get used to the differences, and the quicker we do that, the better we will perform. We have 9 games to go, and we are determined to climb away from trouble. If you look back to March and just before the lockdown, we felt we were playing much better. We just weren't getting the results. I thought we thoroughly deserved to beat Southampton, and then should have beaten Arsenal at their place just before the season was halted. Our next 2 matches would have been Wolves, who had just played Greece in the Europa League, and then Tottenham, who were then without Harry Kane and Heung-min Son. We felt there was a real opportunity there, but that's in the past. We have to deal with it here and now, and we also have players back from injury, so we're in good shape. After tomorrow, our next match is at Spurs' new stadium without the fans, and how weird is that going to be? With 9 games in 6 weeks, the manager will know he has to use his entire squad, because there is no way you can play the same team every week after such a long break, and considering the unique circumstances. I am one of a few players on the wrong side of 30, but we are fit and ready to make good use of our experience. We just hope that we don't pick up too many injuries, but everyone else will be in the same boat. So, guys, we've actually smashed it straight on an hour there. So let's just catch up with what everybody's saying before we clock on. Or clock off, as the word should be. It's just all Yeah, it's just all internal chat there. So, guys, thank you very much for your time. Hope you've had a really, really good evening. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you're new round here, welcome. Exactly, mate. Exactly. He's done well. He's helping with mental health as well. If you're new round here, by all means, please do subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to get to know when new content is going up. Just one, and also by all means, guys, if you've liked it, please hit the like button. Please share this content on your phones or your laptops or your tablets, whatever you're watching on, and swear it on your Twitter. Swear it. Well, you can swear at it if you want, but share it on Facebook, Twitter, whatever. Get more people up and running. Dale, hopefully we'll see you tomorrow night, mate. Tomorrow evening, I should say, because the live watch along will be on both YouTube and Periscope. There's not many people signing up to Periscope at the moment, so I'm really trying to get that account up and running. So, guys, you will see the football background. We will be back for the watch alongs tomorrow afternoon. But in the meantime, guys, enjoy the rest of your evening. I'm gonna watch the Spurs Man United game. No, it's not going to be a watch along before anybody says, because I'm going to be doing my notes for the preview that I'll be recording probably straight after the game on Saturday or maybe Sunday. But yeah, guys, take care of yourselves, behave yourselves, and I will see you very soon. In actual fact, I will see you in just over 22 hours, or just under, I should say, 22 hours. Take care.